And welcome back to the InfoWars Nightly News. Joining me now for the News Blitz is Derrin McBreen. Now, McBreen, I've been in California. I saw the crazed look in everyone's eyes as they were worshiping Hillary Clinton, and it really frightened me for the future. I guess I failed to get the memo that it's time to start worshiping the
It's time to start work. Well, there's no doubt that Hillary Clinton is the ultimate candidate, the puppet candidate for the establishment.
Oh, it's her time.
It is her time, and she's funded by the globalists. She's funded by the big banks and the neocons. And even though I think she's probably the most unpopular candidate in America, or one of the most unpopular and hated people in America right now, you'd never know it by watching mainstream media television, because they truly make her out to look like a hero. And
Right.
she looks like a legitimate presidential candidate.
Right. I mean, how do you just gloss over the fact that she is under FBI investigation and that she's been continually been caught in lies over her email server, putting the country at risk, and then lying again? And I mean, they pretend that they are going to cover her Clinton Foundation. Anderson CIA Cooper, you know, he does the hard-hitting piece and says, well, this, and she's like, oh, well, you know, was there some issues there with the accounting? Sure. But we did a really, you know, it's just like, come on.
Well, look, we've told you many times on this program that there are only 6 corporations that own and control 90% of everything that you watch, that you read, and that you listen to on the radio. Only 6 corporations control all of it. And they've got their marching orders to support Hillary Clinton. Now, I want to show you something that we threw together. This is a compilation of a news media compilation, and this is local news programs all across the nation. It doesn't matter what city, state, or town that you live in. The news all across the board is all the same.
Who are you really shopping for this holiday season? It's okay, you can admit it, if you've bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
Well, it's okay, you can admit it if you have bought an item or 2 or maybe 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it. You've bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you've bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
Well, if you filled up your gas tank lately, then you don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you gas prices are back on the rise. You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you gas prices are on the rise. I know.
In consumer news, economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year. Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
You came from someplace else. Somebody brought you.
You came from someplace else. Somebody brought you.
Shame on us if we've forgotten.
Shame on us if we've forgotten.
More tolerant and more just and more accepting.
More tolerant, more just, more accepting.
Do not threaten to burn the house down.
Don't threaten to burn the house down.
They're not focused on you.
They're not focused on you.
And now let's look at the mainstream news media on a national level this time, repeating the same talking points, this time about Hillary Clinton, because regardless of your politics, Leanne, I think we could both agree that this is truly a historic time in our country.
Did you hear it?
It's the sound of that glass ceiling breaking, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on.
It's an incredible and a historic moment, again, no matter your politics.
And I think we can all admit, no matter what your politics are in this situation, no matter who you support, this is a very historic moment.
Adam, no matter what your politics, this is a historic moment.
Regardless of your politics, this is a historic moment.
You know, with all the back and forth over Sanders and Clinton and Trump and everything on the Republican side, can we just take a second to stop and recognize history?
Regardless of where you stand politically, tonight is a very special night for women in this country.
And some residents this morning are saying that regardless of politics, they are proud that their local girl has made history.
Whatever your politics are, we need to mark this moment in American history.
However you feel about Hillary Clinton, she claims her place in history.
No matter what side of the aisle you're on, there's no denying Hillary Clinton has made history.
Whatever you think about Hillary Clinton, whatever you think about her politics, an important moment for the...
And look, these talking points are not only repeated on television, but you can see the same talking points on websites and in newspapers. Check out the LA Times article. This is just from yesterday. Hillary Clinton finally breaking the glass ceiling. I wonder where they got that idea.
Did you hear it? It's the sound of that glass ceiling breaking, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on.
Derrin, you know, I kind of just get the feeling that regardless of what our politics are, we really should just stop and acknowledge that this is a really important time.
It really is an important time. Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, her story.
Yeah, it's her story.
It's time to just go ahead and get rid of that.
Well, all across the board, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's newspapers, television, even movies, television shows. Madam Secretary, which is based on the real life of Hillary Clinton. Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah, it's all priming us to accept this time as if we didn't already know that she was going to break through the glass ceiling.
And you know what's crazy is there's a lot of people who they don't necessarily read news websites, they don't watch television news, but they'll watch television. And they still get these strong political opinions by watching shows like Madam Secretary, or
House
they
of
will see
Cards.
Hillary Clinton on Saturday Night Live, think she's very funny, and that's how they elect their president, because she's a woman.
Right, or President Obama on Jimmy Fallon, or any other myriad of television appearances he has made. So,
yeah, Donald Trump's bad because he used to be a TV reality show.
Very successful TV reality producer. Well, Derrin, let's not forget that just last year we reported on the Obama administration meeting with producers in Hollywood and having them inject political agendas in their scripts, in movies,
Sony
television
Pictures
shows.
and Disney. That's what he met with the CEOs of Sony and Disney to help control the narrative.
Exactly.
On Muslim immigrants and also ISIS.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's how they can just watch a show and have a fully politically informed opinion without even being involved in politics at all. But they don't even know where they're getting these ideas from.
And don't forget, folks, that the CIA infiltrated the news media long ago. This is just Google search Operation Mockingbird, right? And so this goes all the way back to the inception of the CIA. So this started in the early 1950s, late 1940s.
Right, as well as they also infiltrated all of the civil rights movements. And when you see this woman who is so proud of Hillary Clinton making history and as a democratic socialist and just can't wait till this is going to be ruling the country, and how she's been a political activist all these years in a political movement that was infiltrated by the CIA, which used those movements as social engineering tools. Yeah. And she's just so proud of the fact that now they're so completely successful. So
wow.
We're glad everybody out there has got their eyes open.
I was going to say Hillary Clinton came here to delete emails and destroy our country, and she's all out of emails.
Well, thank you, Derrin. And thank you guys for tuning in.